All right, so we talked about the wholesale side of things. That's the scale, right? Okay, so that's what you do on scale. That's not the only way, though, to go about finding products, right? So, like I told you guys about the whole kind of spy like a ninja thing. Y'all remember where we put a product in our inventory? We're not going to sell it. We're just going to collect information. So how do we go about looking at the information? So do any of you guys upload your business reports into eCom right now to get your traffic data? It's pretty cool. So like that data is actually very valuable, especially if you're going to be buying inventory, right? Buying products. So on the wholesale side, if you're sourcing product like vendors that don't drop ship, for example, you could use that strategy, and then you could start every week, put your business report in there, sort by that supplier. You can add them as a supplier, so you can identify the products that you want to identify, and then find the products that get the most traffic, right? So this is, again, like I'm trying to help you guys stack the deck in your favor to where you can feel comfortable getting the process started. That's going to be the hardest part, guys. That is honestly going to be the hardest part. You're going to put a lot of effort in on the front end, and it's not going to happen overnight. So I want to at least help you stack the deck in your favor to where once you get that first small victory, it motivates you to get that second small victory, and it motivates you to get that third one, and you continue going down that road. So how many of you guys have virtual assistants that work for you? Like a lot? So this is something that they could be doing for you guys, right? As you're sourcing products and as they're adding stuff into your inventory, they could be looking weekly. Part of their job function could be to identify products that have the most searches, right? Then what do? We open up the Amazon page. Do all of you guys now know RevSeller exists? RevSeller, it's a really cool extension. A few of you asked me about it in lunch, so it's really, really cool extension. What you can do is you can open up the Amazon page, you can put the price of the item in there, and it tells you how profitable it would be if you end up purchasing it. Pretty cool, right? So now you know the traffic stats of the product before you purchase. And you pretty much know that you're going to have a product that's going to sell, right? Any product that gets traffic, if they get hundreds of searches in a short period of time, a week, 2 weeks, guess what's happening with that product, guys? It's selling. Because Amazon is in the business to make sales, right? And if they're sending a bunch of traffic over to a listing and it's not converting, what are they going to do? They're not going to send traffic over to it. They're going to send the traffic to the listings that are converting, right? So you might not know the sales, how many times it's selling, but at least you know it's getting eyeballs, right? How many of you guys have heard me say that very first thing that needs to happen in order to make a sale is what? Eyeballs, right? Someone has to see it. They have to find it. So this is how you execute on that, guys, on the back end. I know this isn't in your guide, so just take notes, right? And then you pick the winners. Pick the ones that make the most sense. Get rid of you don't have to worry about the losers because they're losers. Just get rid of them. Delete them, right? Rinse and repeat, guys. Like you can go through that 51,000 products right there. List every single one of them. List them really high. Have a 30-day handling time. You're never going to make a sale, ever. You could list it at the right price. You put 30-day handling time, nobody's going to buy it unless it's out of stock. Then they will. But this is a way that you could realistically get a lot of data in a short period of time, right? For those of you who don't quite understand the FBA game and you don't want to risk your money until you have a better understanding. This is a process that you can use, right? You guys get it? Makes sense? Easy enough to execute on, right? Right? That way you don't have to guess. Again, just remember, you have to have eyeballs on a product in order for it to sell. This is how you can identify before you purchase a product that it's got eyeballs, right? And then within a relative certain fashion, you can determine what it's selling at because you'll know what it's selling at, right? How many times it's selling. You'll have that information at this point. Maybe not how many. And if you have a loser, you don't pick it, right? It might be like winner, loser. But here we go. We got this apple cider vinegar. $594. Y'all like products that are ranked in the 500s? It's pretty cool, right? You know that's selling a lot. We got a lot of those products. Look at that, the difference between that. Sometimes you have products that you can, look at that, 2,261 page views, right? I can make $8.91 if I FBA it. I think this company drop ships for me. They do. This is one of them that we use as kind of a data collector. We'll drop ship from them as a means of seeing what's selling. We know that they're charging us way more for shipping than what we could get if we send it into FBA. But hey, that's another way of looking at your drop shipping business, right? Is you could take that, look at the products. If you identify the wholesalers of the products, well, maybe that product you can get at bulk, or maybe it opens up a whole world of other products, right? So that's really it. The last thing that we need to finish with, what happens? Like this is so far we have. There's a couple different key functions. Okay. First is you have to get a wholesaler set up in order to, source products. Once you have a wholesaler set up, don't do it like we did it for the first year. We collected them like they were baseball cards. We had so many wholesalers, but we couldn't do a single thing with any of them. That's actually why we built our sourcing wizard, because we couldn't figure out how to actually source these wholesalers efficiently. It was hard. We had all these other softwares that would do certain little things, but it wouldn't give us the complete picture, in order to make those decisions. So that's why we created it. Now, the last step of the product, the last stage is preparing the purchase order, guys. So, like I mentioned earlier, your suppliers are going to either sell individual units of a product or they're going to sell products in a case, okay? So if you're selling a 6-pack of Airborne, the question is how many individual units of Airborne is in that case? All right, maybe 36 of them, right? How many, I don't know. And then how many total units would that case make up? So if the case had 36 and the listing on Amazon was a 6-pack, how many units would you actually have available if you purchased one case of that product? 6, right? Very simple math. You guys get that? How to get that information, Like and the next stage is where you package stuff up. Like the suppliers don't package it up into 3-packs, right? That's going to be on you. But that's honestly where the money's at. Like for those of you who are drop shipping, you could see where the biggest margins are always is on multi-packs, right? We sell a lot of multi-packs. That's why we get really good margins, that's like one of our main strategies. Same thing in FBA. Multi-packs are fantastic, I know Doug was in the office a couple weeks ago, and I was showing you just creative ways, right, to come up with multi-packs, So you could take really popular products, not getting too technical here, but, to just give you guys some thoughts, right? Maybe Airborne itself, the single pack, you can't sell, right? You can't make any money on it, but you can sell the 3-pack of it. Again, why do people shop at Costco? Bulk, right? The cool thing about what Ecom's Sourcing Wizard does is it identifies the single pack. It also identifies all the multi-packs as best as it possibly can. So some products are on Amazon 25 times in different quantities, right? But some of the products that aren't, guys, it's only one product a day, right? You don't have to make this super complicated, right? It could be one product a day that you find. Maybe it's I found this product that's ranked 500 and they're not selling it in a 3-pack. I'm going to create a 3-pack listing of it. Because there's a lot of searches looking for Airborne, right? How many of you guys are using Merchant Words? Let me give you a little key. Go to Merchant Words. Type in the name of your product, Airborne. And it's going to tell you how many searches approximately. Who knows where they get their data? Could be completely made up, but it's supposed to give you some realistic numbers of search volume. So if you have the supply chain, you have the ability to control, like those marbles, right? We talked about those marbles earlier, where we sold $4,000 in profit of marbles, The 2-pack didn't exist. So still there's been nobody else that's actually like gone on to that listing with us. Jerry, I'm watching you. But you guys get it. Like, so ordering cases, like you have to kind of planning your inventory. You know, it's very simple, but you have to understand that, like, all right, so they don't sell one, they sell one case of 36. You know, so if you're selling one of these, you would have 36 units. If you're selling a 2-pack of these, you would have 18 units. That determines how aggressive you need to come in on any one product, right? Like I recommend just doing enough to get some data, guys. Like I keep saying it over and over, right? Like you want to get some data, and then you can make your decisions on the back end. You know, like I gave you a little hack to be able to get data without having to risk a single dime, and then you can, you know, start moving forward with the process. All right? So it's really nothing real complicated about this whole process, you know. Here's what it says. This particular supplier would require that we purchase at least one case of this product, right? They're not selling it individually. So the case shows that it would cost me $312 to buy this product. I don't know what this is. Airborne. And there's 72 units of that. Now, if I wanted to be aggressive with this, they have 57 cases available. So if I knew that the competition was running out and I'm at my time to replenish and we're looking at that part, I might order all 57 cases of it, right? Because unless people are getting it somewhere else, like if that's the only supplier selling something, I'm gonna buy it up, right? You don't need a lot of products, guys. You just need good products, okay? There we go. Nothing real complicated about that. Now, I want you to also consider this, guys, before we move to the next section, okay? Inventory is an actual asset to your business. Did you guys know that? Inventory is an asset. Yes, it's a cost, but it goes on your books as an asset because you could liquidate it at the cost that you get, right? That's good. It's good to have a business asset, right? Every time you buy a product, you're building value of your business, right? And we're talking about building businesses that we can sell in the future, guys. Like that's the new game. That's what we're playing, right? Who wants to be able to sell a business in a couple years and bring in a couple $1 million, right? Be pretty cool, right? The cash, is it worth it to have $2 million, $3 million, $4 million in your bank in 3 years? You guys willing to work hard every day to make that happen, right? We have a vision, right? First things first, you have to have a vision in order for you to get what it is that you're out to get. So I'm trying to help you guys form a vision. That's it. Like the people who are going to run with me, we're going to be in this together. We're going to be building this. That's what our tribe's all about. That's what it's all about now. It's not about drop shipping anymore. It's about building a business that we could sell in the future. That's where we're at. This is probably going to be the biggest obstacle for a lot of you, right? This is the bottleneck right here. This is the one bottleneck that you'll have to solve if you want to scale, all right? Now, the good thing is you can do this, guys, without having to have a big operation at all. Like, there's a couple ways for you to turn your inventory. First, you use your home, 3rd bedroom, garage, whatever. That's going to be the cheapest and most cost-effective way for you to do this. Your cost is really your labor and the packaging materials, right? We're going to talk about packaging materials here. Or you can use a prep company, right? There's all sorts of prep centers that are out there that are already set up to be able to handle your inbound shipments, right? They just need to know a couple issues, like how are we packaging this up, right? How are we packaging it up? Now, in terms of like scaling for a lot of you guys, like unless you want to be like this guy right here. I got you. Oh man, that was a manual a couple of days ago. I was like, are you wet in that picture, man? Were you out in the rain? He's been building his wholesaling business now for the last several months as well, and you know he kind of bootstrapped it up, guys. You know, like what are you willing to sacrifice? You know, he sacrificed some extra space in his house, right? And his sanity, yeah. he had boxes all over the place. But, you know, he understands the process at a deep level, and Emmanuel just made an investment into his own warehouse, right? So he didn't go the route of using a prep center. Now, I get it. That's not going to be everybody's route, right? A lot of people probably don't want boxes laying all over their house. I get it. I don't particularly want them laying all over my house as well. But if you do, there's the materials that you need in order to be able to turn your products and get them into Amazon, right? Again, remember, this is part of the pillars. This is a third key pillar to running this as a machine, right? You got to have poly bags, tape gun, boxes, who would have thought, label maker. Now, you guys know where you could buy these things? Uline.com. And they'll send you a big old like catalog every time you buy something. I got 70 of them. It's like, gosh, I can't believe you guys send us that. That's a huge catalog. But you need a label maker. Optional, right? A barcode scanner. If you really want to be efficient, you know, scan your stuff in, scan your stuff out. You know, like we're talking bigger picture stuff for you to consider, right? You don't have to know how to do it. You just got to do it, and then you learn how to do it. I'm just telling you. Scotty gun. I think that removes like stickers. And a software that we actually use in our warehouse to be able to receive products and get them scanned in and check them back out. That keeps us on top of our inventory to where we have very accurate counts of all of our products in our inventory. Is called SKU Vault. Now, you don't necessarily need SKU Vault if you're not like warehousing products yourself. It's really designed more for if you're actually warehousing stuff. But I'm just telling you stuff that we use in our business. So you guys all have sourcing mastery. Like we go into a little bit more depth on like the actual setting up the actual shipment in there. I want to avoid doing the technical stuff right here and talk about the strategy of it all though. Prep center, no materials needed, right? Build it into your cost. Like when you contact the prep center, they're going to tell you, oh, we're going to charge you $2 a unit, right? This is everything that we need to do. We need to multi-pack it up. And they have like charges based on what you need them to do. Now, the nice thing about a prep center is you don't need to have a warehouse. You don't have to hire people to receive the products for you. It's something that a one-person operation can leverage without taking on the expense of getting a warehouse, bringing on employees. Another thing that you guys can do, let me give you another example. Hire a stay-at-home mom to come in 1 day a week or once a day or whatever for 2 hours a day that's going to package up your stuff and get it shipped out, right? This whole part's manual labor. That's all it is, right? Put a Craigslist ad out there, you know? Like, there's people out there that will work for an hour a day without you having to take on a full-time employee. So just things to consider, guys. Resourcefulness is important, right? Resourcefulness is the name of the game when it comes to running a business, right? Bootstrap, whatever it takes, guys. It takes one product a day, okay? So what's your process of making sure that one product a day efficiently gets out the door so you can scale to 2 products a day? Then you can get to 3. Then you can get to 4. Then you can get to 5. Eventually, it's going to get big, and you'll have the justification of bringing someone in full time, right? Once the cash flow justifies it. But here's the process. In e-com, the cool thing is we actually account for it. On this product, the total purchase cost without having a prep fee would be $11.39. I just put an arbitrary number in there for $2 per unit, which would be the prep fee. Obviously, that could destroy your margins. It could make or break your margin, right? That $2 could be a lot. So it's something that you have to calculate for. So it changes the cost of your product. So you have the ability to put that in there to make your decisions. If you're going to be using a prep center, you'll know how much it's going to cost for you to prep the products. They'll have a guide for you. And after you do business with them a few times, you'll know everything, right? So why would you want to use a prep center? No labor cost. No materials needed. Only pay for products when you need to have prepared. That's it. The only thing that you really need to be able to give them, or even yourself, like we just talked about, is how the products need to be packaged. How many units go into that bag, right? That's That's the thing that takes the most time. You know, some packages come with 36 units. You're selling an individual unit. You pull it out of the box. You put a sticker on it, put it back in. You label 36 products in a matter of a couple minutes, right? 36 products labeled in a few minutes. Now, it might be more challenging if you had to take 36 of them out, put them into a baggie, tie it up, and then put a label on it, right? So you just have to understand that, right, going in. But if you look at the profitability of the products, here's just some cash flow management tips. Like if you know the profitability of what those 36 products are going to bring in, what's the cost of your labor, right? How long does it take to package up 36 products? For some products, it might take a little while, but for the most part, it doesn't take but a few minutes, you know, and that's going to return $100, $200, $300, $400 worth of profits, and the labor it costs you is $15. Is that a good return on investment or a bad return on investment, right? We're talking about, guys, we're talking about building real businesses here. Like real businesses require human capital, right? Just giving you a system. If you can master receiving the products, you can scale your business. If you don't master receiving the products, it's going to be hard to scale. You can make money, though. Like, you can still make money as an individual, you know, person. But to make, you know, the big money, you got to master this stage of the process. This is manual labor. So this part is where, when we were getting started, I spent most of my time in the business, right? So I could really understand this process at a deep level. I loved it. Every single day I'd be looking, it's like, all right, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Like, I couldn't wait to wake up and look at my forecasting software that helps me out with this. So this is like after you start actually getting the products in there and you're paying attention to your inventory. Remember how I told you guys earlier that you want to invest 80% of your budget into the products that are actually selling, your replenishments, and then 20% of your budget could go towards, you know, new products, right? So the 80-20 rule works with everything, okay? 20% of the products that you actually send in to Amazon are going to make you 80% of your profits, right? So we're going to go through the process of identifying, how do I know which ones those are? Like, how do I know which ones are my 20%? Pay attention. That's first. This gives me a whole bunch of information right here, right? It shows me the profit of a product, the kind of ROI on that product, profit margin. It shows me the amount of sales that it makes. So there's a couple softwares that you can use. You can use a software called Forecastly, which helps you with the forecasting of it. This screenshot happens to be the repricing engine that I'm using for FBA, which is called FeedVisor. FeedVisor, FeedVisor, right? So I don't use AppEagle for my FBA products. I use FeedVisor for the FBA products. They're just a much more robust platform. It's an expensive system. It's not recommended if you only have a handful of products, but we've got hundreds of SKUs at this point. So we're able to justify the cost of it. But you know, like, it's helpful to know all this information, though, right? Like, what's the ROI on your product? How many times is it sold, right? Ordered items, how many times it's sold? So we're going to dig into that, right? The whole goal is for us to continuously increase our revenues, our profits. Let me ask you guys a question. Which do you think is more important, ROI or margin? ROI? Anybody go with margin? All right. You guys are smart. I personally believe that ROI is the most important indicator, right? Because I can look at that and know if I sell everything in my inventory, this is what I can expect to receive back in return. As long as I do a good job replenishing the winners and a good job on finding new products, I can predictably grow that revenue, right? The more inventory that I have, as long as I maintain a steady ROI, the more profit I make, right? So I get this data right there from FeedVisor. And this right here, the calculation is 44%. My $21,000 in inventory cost is going to profit me $9,759, okay, at the time of this. So Another way to look at that, if that number was $211,000, if I maintain the same ROI, my profit would be $97,500, right? So that's how you can kind of predictably estimate forecasting for, growing your inventory right there. So the way that I like to look at ROI is, you guys have ever heard me talk about the rule of 72? Anybody in here, right? Anybody not know what the rule of 72 is? Okay. So the rule of 72 is something that I actually learned when I was 21 years old, and I think that it's really done me well in life. It's a basic financial principle that states that if you divide the return on investment that you get into the number 72, it's going to tell you roughly how long or how many cycles it's going to take for your money to double. Okay, so I'll explain that a little bit. So the stock market, for example, if you get a 12% return on your money annually, and you divide 12 into 72, what's that give you? 6, right? So if you had $10,000 in inventory, or $10,000 in the stock market, right, it would take you 6 years for that $10,000 to turn into $20,000, okay? Now, the power of compounding is if you maintained that ROI of 12% over another 6 years, that $20,000 would now be $40,000, right? So it would take you 12 years to turn $10,000 into $40,000. And that's the power of compounding, and that's the power of time, okay? Now, what I love about Amazon is we get paid every 2 weeks, right? It's how quickly are we able to turn that inventory, right? So if I'm trying to turn my inventory once every 30 days, then I have a cycle of 30 days that I'm looking at. What was my ROI on that inventory in that 30-day period of time? If I reinvest it back into the business, guess what happens? I double it in another 30 days. Or if I'm getting 44%, it takes me how long does it take for me to double that investment into that product if I'm getting 44% ROI on a product? Anybody want to do that math? 44 divided by 72, what is it? 1.61. So it would take you less than 2 cycles to double your money. Right? There's no excuse for us all not to make a bunch of money here, guys, as long as we pick the right products that turn, right? You guys get it? Double your money? Doesn't matter where you're starting. If you're starting with 1,000, it could be 2,000 in a few months. You're starting with 10,000, it could be 20,000 in a few months. Doesn't have to take long. So how do you optimize your inventory? Pay attention to it. This is the Rainmaker job. The Rainmaker is the one looking at their inventory, paying attention to what's moving and what's not moving, right? As long as you do a good job picking products, most everything's going to move in a pretty short period of time. But if it doesn't, what do you think that you do? Adjust your prices, yeah. Maybe start liquidating. I like to try to get stuff out in 30 days, That's my goal, is to turn the inventory in 30 days, It's not always the case, I try to keep it in stock at all times, and we're going to go over that, but that's my goal, is a 30-day. I buy enough inventory to last what my projected, and we'll go over sales velocity in just a second, so I'll explain that. Pay attention to your ROIs, guys. It tells me on this screen, this is Forecastly, okay? So it tells me how many to buy, right? This forecasting software tells me how many to buy. It tells me how many I do have inbound. It tells me everything that I need to know in order to make a replenishment decision. Again, we're talking about just a couple softwares that you guys can use to run a multi-million-dollar business. It's pretty cool. But you just pay attention. The products that get you the best ROI, you replenish, right? The stuff that gets you the worst ROI, you get rid of. If you had to choose between two, pick the better one. Pick the one that's selling more, right? Remember this, guys. If you're starting from 0, 10% is better than 0, right? 10% ROI is better than 0% ROI, right? Most of you guys are getting around that in your drop shipping business right now, about 10%, right? If you keep optimizing your inventory, keep putting your money into the better stuff, eliminating the worst stuff, you can predictably increase that number. 20% is better than 10%, right? Now, when we're sourcing products, we don't choose stuff that's already at 10%, right? We choose stuff that's at 50%. That's our selector. That way we know we have some room to go down. Sometimes we miss, though, and we have to make 10%, but we get rid of it. We just don't replenish that product, right? We replenish the better stuff. 30% is better than 20%, right? And all of these guys are better than what you're going to get in the stock market. That's the truth. You know, over time, the stock market, if you bet on the S&P 500, it's returned about 8 point some odd % since inception, right? And not a lot of stock or mutual funds are going to beat that. So how long would that take for your money to double? Right? Long time, right? So this is just, again, like I told you guys, my goal out of this is to help maybe get you guys thinking about money a little bit different, right? Get to thinking about it as a vehicle that can set you free financially if you get it working for you, if you get it into the right investments, into the right vehicle. And we use physical products as our vehicle. You know, some people are using Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's going crazy, right? One thing is it's speculative. Like you talk to one person, they say Bitcoin's going to go crazy forever. You talk to another one, they say it's about to crash down to earth and everybody's going to lose all their money, right? Who knows? The one thing that I know is my product's selling, right? I'm making money when I sell that dog biscuit, right? Right? The difference, I already went over the difference for you guys. The difference is my money's turning substantially faster if I have products that are winning, right? I'm simply just selecting the products that are winning, and I'm getting rid of the products that are not winning. Putting 80% of my budget into finding new into the ones that are winning, right? Really trying to control that product, right? I want to go aggressive, right? We talked about it. On the first buy, the 20% of our budget, limp in, we'll stick our toe in the water, we'll see how we do. And then when we know what we're doing, let's go. Let's compete. You know, let me drive everybody out of the market because I'm going to buy as much as I possibly can and make it to where when someone's using that how many extension, they're like, nah, I'm not going in on this one, going to go in on another one, right? Here's what it looks like, guys, when I talk about like your 80% of your, 20% of your inventory returns you 80% of the results. So I took this over a period of 1 day or a couple days. 52 total ASINs. So I have 52 products, different SKUs, right, in my FBA inventory that sold over a couple day time frame. 34 of those products brought in under $10 in profit, roughly 65%. 8 of those profited from $10 to $20, okay? That's 15%. So that's 80% of them right there, and we're up at 40 of the 52. 5 of those profited between $20 and $50. 4 of those profited between $50 and $100. 1 of them profited $1,300. Right? What's that? All right. Oh, I wish I could get more of it right now. So a little off topic here right now, but if you guys want to know how we did that, I took a product that was selling in our dropshipping store from Walmart, and I went to Walmart.com, and they had this discount for picking it up at the store. Have you guys seen that? Like where you can get like major discounts for picking up products at the store. So I bought 100 of this puzzle. And, you know, we sent our warehouse people over in their pickup truck to pick it up. Then we just packaged it up. I forgot I even bought it. Like, Gerard comes to me. He's like, hey, how much was this product that you bought? We don't have a cost on it. And he's like, your brother said it was $4. I was like, really? It's like, it's selling for $34.68. We bought that for $4 right now. Like, we're going to make $22 every time this product sells. Say, yeah, it looks like that. So I went over to Walmart. It's like, do they have any more? Do they have any more? They didn't have any more at the time, but we're keeping our eyes on it right now. So where's my money going to go, guys? Where's my money going to go? If I had to choose, it's going to go to the ones that are profiting the most, right? The ones that are giving me the best return on investment. But if you continuously source, this is the key. If you continuously source, you're going to build up out of these 52, you're going to have 520 ASINs, right, that are selling over a course of a couple days. You're going to have 340 products that are bringing in $10. You're going to have 80. My eyes are so bad. You're going to have 80 that are profiting you $10 to $20, right? But those products right there, those are the ones that are going to make up like your consistent revenue streams, right? Because sometimes those products that profit you the most, they're like, can't get the replenishment on that product, right? Right? Can't get it back in unless they keep selling it at $4. But like before everybody ran out of stock on it, it was selling at $16, right? You know, so wasn't making nearly as much. Wouldn't be as profitable now, but like, hey, we got in because we're sourcing. We're being aggressive about sourcing. The only way that we found it is by looking. Can't find it if you don't look, and then you find it. It's like, damn, I just made $2,200 in a couple minutes, right? Who wants to make $2,200 in a few minutes, right? Everybody, right? It's pretty cool. So, I mean, it's just doing this on scale, guys. It's repeating this process, right? Repeating this process, like spending some time every day looking at what's selling, right? Now, I wasn't using my expensive repricing software, and once I turned it on, you know, like, man, the magic just hit. It's like all this stuff that wasn't selling is starting to sell. Like I was spending all this time manually looking, trying to adjust my prices to get stuff to sell. And man, it did it. So like, you know, I'm telling you guys, just consider long-term, you know, invest into your technology. Technology is how you can run a business without having to, like, people have already built it. That's what's cool. You don't have to put the money into building it. You know, like they've already done it for you. You just have to be willing to understand the return on investment and the return on your time, right? Like how much is your time worth? Like if you're spending all your time repricing your products, you're not finding new products, right? So like I said, guys, you're one product away, right? You're one product away. $2,100 in profit. Like this was over a few days, just last weekend, 2 days worth of sales on FBA. And guys, we just got started in the game a few months ago, right? We haven't been doing this forever. It took me a way longer time in my drop shipping business to get to that number. Way longer time. You know, because I truly believe in the process that I talked about today. Why would I pivot when I've been so successful and I built a $6 million company using Walmart and Home Depot as a supplier? I built my entire reputation on it, and I'm willing to go out there and say, I'm doing something different. Why would I do that? Doesn't make a whole lot of logical sense unless I really believe in it, right? Like, guys, I'm telling you, I believe in this. I believe in this. I believe this is going to be how we get to $1 million a month in sales. You know, there's challenges, guys, that present. And like, I was talking at lunch with Annette and Kristen, and I said, why are people having so much harder of a time now than when we got started a few years ago? I know Annette's been with me since the beginning, I think. Like, why is it so much harder now than it was? And I don't know the answer to it. I don't, like, nothing's changed other than we've made things way easier than they used to be. Like, I think maybe it's like I understood that we had to use spreadsheets to manually track our inventory. So we had to build the software to fix that. And maybe it's like we built it to where it's like, oh, shoot, I'm doing too much business and I don't know how to actually handle the back end. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And then the metrics get all out of whack and it's just like up and down roller coaster. Anybody go through that, right? This process, guys, like this process is an up roller coaster if you stay consistent with sourcing products and you make good decisions and you replenish what's working, liquidate what's not working. Get rid of it. Get your money back out, put it into something else. Would you be willing to break even on a product to get information to find a product that makes you $2,000? Right? Like they're out there. You just have to be willing to execute every single day. You have to be willing to do what it takes every single day to get the life that you want to have. This model is not hard, right? If you know what you're looking at, right? The hard part for everybody in here is going to be doing it the first time and then fumbling your way through it, figuring it out as you go, How do I handle an incoming shipment? You're going to figure it out, I promise you. You don't need anybody to show you how to do it, right? We didn't have anybody show us how to do any of the stuff that we've done, right? Everybody here has the same exact opportunity. It's what you do with it, right? Running out of stock on a product is something that costs your company money, right? Because if you don't have it in your inventory, you lose revenue, you lose profits, right? So this is why this is such an important part of the process. I have a full-time person on my staff that handles this. His name's Gerard. You guys ever talk to him on the support desk? He's amazing, right? So Gerard's in there. He's in the process of keeping an eye on our inventory, what's turning every single day, and we're taking our profits, reinvesting it into a human being, right? Now, this human being happens to be sitting in my office with me instead of across the ocean, where I can talk to and understands what we're after, what we're trying to do, right? So, it's such an important aspect of this business that I need to turn it over to someone that I know that I can talk to every single day about, like, where are we at? What are we processing? Where are we, like, what's going out of stock right now? Have we already ordered this? So, like, if you have forecasts, I'll tell you guys how to manually kind of like figure this number out, but Forecastly does it for us. So, what is the cost of running out of stock? Right? If you have 100 products and you're out of stock on 50 of them, how much are you costing your company, right? If we talk about cash flow, reinvesting into people, as long as we have our products in stock, we could predictably grow our revenues, right? Like, it's predictable. So here's how you calculate your sales velocity, right? To kind of figure out, when am I going to run out of stock? When do I need to replenish, okay? Number of sales, right? And then you divide it by a set number of days, okay? So let's say, for example, you did 10 orders in 7 days. You had the product in stock for only 7 days, okay? 10 divided by 7 is what? 1 point, what's that? 1 point something, right? So that's how many orders you're doing on that product per day. So if you wanted to keep 30 days worth of inventory, right, how many units would you order if you're doing 1.7 units per day? Times 30. So now when you're replenishing and you tested the market on the front end, you got a little bit of data. Okay, I only had it for 7 days, so I don't have like a full picture of data at this point, but I at least know the product's moving. I'm going to buy 30 days worth of inventory based on the data that I have right now, based on the information that's right in front of me. And what's in front of me is that I sold this product 1.7 times per day. So if I want 30 days worth of inventory, what's the number? 1.7 times 30. How much? 51? 51 units, right? And then if it keeps selling 1.7 times a day, every month you order that product one time, right? Which leads us into lead time, all right? So this is like a last little piece of the puzzle when it comes to keeping your product stocked, all right? So do you guys know what lead time is? Anybody that doesn't know what lead time is? I think some of you will, some of you won't. So lead time is basically how long it takes for the product to actually make its way for sale, okay? So let's say today that we bought a product. There's 4 stages of lead time. First, how long does it take for your supplier to actually process the purchase order? Right? After we put those products on a purchase order and we send it over to the supplier, how long does it take for them to actually process it? Some of them take like 1 day, some of them take a week, right? Is that right? Okay. How long after they process it does it take for them to even ship it? Right? They might process it, but still ship it 5 days later, right? You have to know your supplier. Every supplier has its own little nuances, okay? But once you can calculate this, and this is why we use a program called like Forecastly, because it allows us to, really figure out when do we need to buy it before it runs out of stock. It tells us how many days until we're like calculating the lead time in, right? Like if we're waiting for it to run out of stock, then if it's a 30-day lead time before it gets back into Amazon, we're out of stock for 30 days, right? So we need to calculate that ahead of time. So the lead time on every product, how long does it take for your product to actually get processed at your prep center? So we typically send out one big shipment every single week from our warehouse. So usually we create the shipping label and we have it picked up, or we have it created on Wednesday, and then Friday, UPS or whoever we use freight companies a lot of times, LTL, right? Some other freight companies. So they'll back their truck up and they'll pick up our pallet and they'll send it out. Now, I get it. You guys don't all have warehouses, so you have to know how long is it going to take for your prep center, or if you're using your third bedroom to do it, hey, it's just UPS. You're probably not shipping a pallet. Like you could have UPS come pick up the product from you. So you could have them come daily, right? How long is it going to take for you to turn that product? The shorter the time frame, right? I know it's kind of hard to read. I'll give you guys after this, I'll send all of you guys all the slides and everything. I know it's kind of hard to read, sorry. And then how long does it take for it to get checked in at Amazon, okay? So this is all the stuff that takes from the day that you process that replenishment or initial purchase order to when it's actually going to make its way for sale to where someone can take their wallet out and buy the product on Amazon, okay? So in this case, I have 3 days for the purchase order to be processed, 5 days for the product to actually be shipped and received by our warehouse, 5 days for our warehouse or your prep center or your third bedroom to get the product prepared, and then 7 days for Amazon to actually check it in, right? Sometimes they check it in really fast, and sometimes they're really slow, you know. I always err on the side of caution and say it's going to take them longer than shorter, right? Because I want to not run out of stock. I'd rather buy a little bit early than a little bit late. Make sense, guys? So calculate longer lead times. I use pretty much by default 30 days. Even if I know it's going to get in there in 21, I'm still calculating 30. You know, like some of our suppliers are so fast. We have one that we buy from, and then like the next day it's in our warehouse. Same day delivery. So this is what we're just about to release this very shortly, which is kind of cool. We've built an FBA orders table in after me begging, pleading, like, please, can I have this? Can you guys get this done? Please, please. So right around the corner, guys, like you'll be able to, like, I like to use like Forecastly and stuff, but they don't actually tell you really how much profit you make, because they don't calculate when someone buys 2 units of something. You know, some products might appear that if you're just looking at it on the surface that, man, we're not making that much money, but wow, we get 1.6 units per order on this. Let's go see how profitable we are, because there's double packs, right? You don't pay the pick and pack fee multiple times. Like you get a discount on the second, you know, half of it. So stuff that might appear to not be profitable actually is profitable. So like, how do I know how much profit I actually make on my products? I basically look at my orders and it calculates it out for me. So that's really it. So if you guys want to know how to calculate your cost of stock out, right? Take your profit per day, multiply it by 30 days, and then that tells you how much you'd actually lose if you run out of stock on that product, right? Like if you guys have hundreds of products, like it costs you a lot of money if you're letting them run out. Can you see why this is an important part of the process if you want to scale the business? Like being on top of this is extremely important. You know, otherwise you're just like throwing a dart, hoping that you hit the bullseye. But like if you're paying attention to your inventory and you're on top of it and you're aggressively reordering products, guys, you predictably grow your revenue month after month after month. As long as you're doing the 4 pillars, right? As long as you're finding new suppliers, as long as you're sourcing the suppliers that you actually do have regularly. You don't just source a supplier once, by the way. You keep sourcing them, right? Because what might have appeared to be good last month, you guys know Amazon's a fluid marketplace. maybe it's not good anymore. What might have appeared to be bad last month might be good now, right? So you want to continuously do this. For those of you who have virtual assistants, assign one virtual assistant to a store. All right, we have 10 suppliers that we're using. You're doing this one, you're doing this one, you're doing this one. Just keep sourcing them, right? Because one product might be worth thousands of dollars worth of profits for you guys. Like, you can justify the cost of doing it, right? And the name of the game is sourcing products. The more that you source, the more money you make, the more revenues that you bring in, the more you stack the chips in your favor to win in the long run, right? All you have to do is pay attention to the key indicators, right? Keep your products in stock. Know what the ROIs that you're getting on those products are. Cut off the losers. Stay with the winners, right? So in this case, here's a product that makes us $10.97 per day times 30 days. If I run out of stock for 30 days on this product, I lose $329 of profit, right? What if I have 20 of those products? It's a lot of money, right? If I have 30 of those products, it's a lot of money, right? Can you see, again, why this is important, guys? Does this make sense? This isn't complicated, right? I'm kind of tired of having people say, why am I not doing good in it? That's the truth. Like, I don't know. You tell me why you're not doing good in it. I show you what to do, right? Like, it's, I'm just telling you what we're doing in our business. Like, and I want you guys to make a lot of money in the drop shipping business, but like, some of you aren't making a lot of money in that business, you know? I want you to, but I don't know how to get you to. You know, this is what we're doing, right? Like, if you don't want to do it, that's your decision. You know, I hope all of you do want to do it, because I believe in it. Obviously, I wouldn't pivot if I didn't believe in it, but this is what I believe in. I'm willing to stand up here and put my line in the sand, saying I'm over here now. You come or you don't.
All right, so let's just take a 10-minute break. We'll have, two of our top performers giving you some advice on what they're doing. Jason's still going to be around, so we can still direct questions to Jason. And see you guys back here in 10 minutes. Thank you.